All right, we're now live.
Yay. All right, you want me to call it to order, or that is?
That's the chair. You do it.
Yes,
All right.
please.
City of San Fernando Education Committee, regular meeting, August 25th, 6 p.m. Call to order, or that is?
Sorry about that. That was me.
Okay.
All
So now
right.
you, go ahead.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Present.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Present.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Yemas,
Present.
Commissioner Nicole Moore.
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Olivia Robledo.
Present.
Pledge of Allegiance, Vice Chair. This is way before 6:45, so you should be good.
All right. So we got our wonderful flag. All right. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will not be winning any synchronized contests, but we're doing good.
I teach drama, so y'all can imagine how I feel.
I can only imagine. All right, approval of the agenda. Do I have
I
a
would like to
motion?
put a motion.
I'll
All
second.
right,
I would like to second the agenda.
all right, Nicole second. Roll call.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Yemas,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
and Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes. Public statements, written and or oral.
We did not receive any public statements for the Education Commission tonight.
Okay. Then we go on to commission matters. Presentation by Los Angeles Unified School District Board Member Kelly Gonez. We have Esme and Charity. This is very exciting.
But we have good news. She is coming. Board meeting just ended, so she'll log in at 7:30. That's okay with you guys.
Okay, do you want us to flip it or do you want to talk? We can always bring her back.
I think I'd rather her give the updates herself.
Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. We can definitely handle that. So is that okay? I mean, do we need to vote on that if we're going to postpone? Cynthia?
Esme, what time did you say as well?
7:30, if that's okay with you.
7:30. Okay.
Yeah, we might not still be on. We might not still be here by 7:30, but we'll optimistically we'll be.
Charity will be on, so worst case.
Okay. All right. If we get to the end and it's 7:30, we'll figure it out from there. Is that it? Do we need a vote to flip the order, Cynthia?
If we could just open up the approval of the agenda and move the order of the agenda.
Okay, so we need to do that as a vote.
I believe so, Julia?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
go ahead and do that.
All right. We are going to postpone item 1 presentation by Kelly Gonez until she can make it or later in the meeting. Can I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Yemas,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
and Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Great.
All right, so now we will go on to number 2, which is discussion and possible action regarding COVID-19 and its impact on students and schools. I know Suzanne submitted some information. Suzanne, did you want to go first?
Yes, I've been working with a group. Just recently I joined this developed group, and it is, well, actually I've been working with Boys and Girls Club for a while, but also it was the Boys and Girls Club, the PCAT, actually it's American Red Cross, but the PCAT division, and let's see, the Boys and Girls Club, Valley Care Consortium, and this is a group of people who are looking at our youth. We know that during the COVID-19 period, we've been talking to adults and the adults have been talking for their children as to what they're experiencing. And then the seniors have been talking about what experiences they have and how it's hard to deal with the COVID-19 scenario and what can be done. So the group of people got together and said, okay, what can we do for our youth? What can we do for the teens? And so it was developed, an action was developed to where they wanted to listen to the youth. And they said, okay, let's do this. Let's develop a survey to see where are they at? What are they experiencing? And once we do that, once we collect this data, and we continue to collect this data, let's let them talk. And let's see if they can come up with some solutions to some of the problems that they're feeling. So like I said, this group of people are getting together, and then with the purpose or the goal of this Thursday, there is going to be a community forum, and Dr. Alvarez from the Public Health Department, he will be there, and he'll be talking to a panel of teens, once again with the vision or the objective of getting their ideas and listening to them to see, okay, what are they experiencing, and what can we do as a whole, as a community, to help them, or what can they do to help themselves in the community. So once again, okay, so what I asked Cynthia to share with the group was the flyer that invites people to this forum, and on there you can register for this youth forum. And it's not just for youth, it's also for their families, because once again, you know, we're in it together. So what our youth is experiencing, our families are experiencing, but once again, the perspective from the youth. And I've also sent the survey that the youth can fill out, and it's anonymous. They don't have to put their name on there, but it helps give the group understanding of what they're experiencing. And the vision of this this collaboration of people is to look at our teens here in the Northeast San Fernando Valley to see, okay, we are different. Our community, well, all communities are different, but what are our specific needs for our youth? So I wanted to bring to the commission, and it would be really great if we can start a dialogue about how can we join this group as the Education Commission to help assist and help develop this program for our kids. So that's what I have to bring to you. And are there any questions with what I presented right now?
No, I think it's great that they're having that forum. I think just looking at the description of it, you know, definitely aligns with, I think, everything we've been talking about, and when they're looking for ways of support. Do you plan on attending, Susan?
Yes,
Okay.
I am going to be attending, and to attend, they would like us to pre-register, and on that flyer, you can register from that flyer, the electronic flyer. And what are your thoughts about us, you know, becoming part of this possible educational piece for our youth in these COVID times? What are your thoughts?
How are you envisioning it? So, like, what do you mean us getting involved in the educational piece? Like coming?
I think first of all, to see what direction, because this is new, it's brand new,
Right.
to see what direction what direction is this going in, and how could we as San Fernando Commission help our kids, you know, trying to get their perspective as to what they're experiencing, so that way we can help our kids in the city of San Fernando with whether if they see the needs, if they see mental health needs, or if they're feeling, you know, the hunger that the families are feeling, or how are they dealing with their friends? How is it that they can not be isolated? But what can we do for our community of youth through this project?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's a great idea, because then we can, through this group, we could probably bring a lot of information, because I'm imagining that there's a lot of sharing of information, of resources in the Valley. And
Yes.
So I think that we would be bringing that to our city youth. But also, I think, we can contribute too, because some of us are educators. So we know what it is to, or like people that are teaching, like Commissioner Moore and Govea, they're on the front line, with the teaching and how students are responding or not responding, and why don't they respond, or why do they open up their video or they don't open up their video, put their name up, and then leave the room. Why does that happen? Are they not interested in, all of these things that are happening, I think are valuable to discuss with others that are trying to find answers.
I agree with you, Olivia. And in fact, you brought a very valuable point as to what we can do as educators in helping our youth. So I can see us participating, but attending the panel, the forum. And I think from us seeing what happens at the forum, I think that'll give us more direction as to what we can do as a commission.
Right. Until we see what they're actually doing or where they're going, we won't know which direction or how we can assist.
Right.
One of the things that I've been trying to do, I was made aware that there were a couple of schools that did not have enough hotspots right before school opened. And we went around and around with the schools with, my biggest concern was with Wi-Fi is if you give one hotspot to a family and you've got 4 family members that are all on the same hotspot, these are not the power hotspots that go with your phone. These are very minimal hotspots. So having 4 students, even if they have their little headphones in and they're engaging quietly with the screen, when they get to that group activity, I was concerned about even just how logistically 3 or 4 siblings could be in a room trying to have the same group time on 4 different laptops, but with one hotspot in one room, because the hotspots aren't strong enough that you could be all over the house. You have to pretty much be planted. At this point, I've been assured that everyone has the hotspots. I know that Board Member Gonez reached out and it's been taken care of. And as of that very day, they were delivered to the last 2 schools that were told as of the Friday before school started, they weren't even going to have enough hotspots. Schools that asked for 2 or 3 dozen got 1 dozen. And there's no kid in the world that can sign on if they have no access. I've been collecting some of the places. The City of San Fernando, which is a county library, actually has the Wi-Fi turned on into their parking lots. So even though they're not allowed to be open, yes, every student in LAUSD was given a city library card, but if they call the county library in San Fernando, they will get them a county library card and then they can get on the Wi-Fi that is wide open. I've reached out to the city library in Sylmar. The youth librarian there is very active and they have fantastic information that's out there. And they wanted to let us know about all these programs, but the city libraries aren't allowed to turn their Wi-Fi on because they're afraid of kids hanging out in the parking lot. I can think of worse things for kids to do than their homework in a parking lot, but it was also going to be 105 last week. So we're all trying to figure out how to get all the kids online. If we have the ability to be part of this group and make sure that the resources are there, and if it is that they're not there, or Olivia, when you said that the kids turn on off their screen, are they now helping their siblings?
Yeah.
They may be the one home with 2 or 3 siblings because their parents are both out working, and the high school student is now in charge of the entire homeschool process. So I would definitely like to hear what the teens have to say with this group. And Suzanne, if you are definitely going to be there, bring back as much information as you can. And
Okay.
this is definitely going to be one of those things that when you can report back what they've found either with their survey or with the information that they are able to collect with the kids there and with the resources, the other community members that are there, we can start to assess what we can bring to the group, but also how the group can serve the students in the city of San Fernando as well.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay.
Nicole?
Okay, and also if you have any, which we do, any teens, youth who would take the survey, that'd be awesome. You could just, Cynthia, I have a question. What I had sent you, would that be available to the commissioners so that way they can just grasp it or take it and then use it, send it to other people also?
Yes, I forwarded the email so everyone has access to the link, and I could also send it to this year's scholarship recipients to take.
That'd be great.
Like,
Yes, that would be great. Okay, awesome. All right, so that way for sure we'll have the people in our community, in the San Fernando community, our data will be in the initial collection of the survey items. But once again, I asked when the window for the survey was going to be closed, and they said they didn't have any definite date. They wanted to make sure that they gave enough opportunity for the youth to reply. And the reason being is that they wanted to work with the youth first in dealing with a COVID scenario. And then if this model works out well, then we would go to working with the seniors in our community. But first, the teens will start because it seems that they need much attention right now.
Nicole?
Well, I was going to say, sorry, well, I was going to say about the Wi-Fi situation. The state has put us in a rather difficult position. By us, I mean anyone who is an educator or a parent, in that we are mandated to many things that do make, as was mentioned, that do force so many people to be on the internet at one time, which is very difficult. However, Senator Hertzberg, who represents us in the state Senate, at a recent meeting that I attended on Zoom, he had mentioned that he really is trying to get state emergency support behind broadband behind like broadband grants for low-income families, because these hotspots should be an emergency solution, not a who knows how long that certain communities, and LA is probably going to be that community. LA County is probably going to be one of the last off the watch list. So perhaps if we hear at this forum when Suzanne attends it next week or tomorrow.
This Thursday.
Sorry, my head is not screwed on straight anymore.
No.
It is. If we do hear that, these Wi-Fi concerns are that there are many kids depending on hotspots and slow Wi-Fi, which is what I'm hearing too, then perhaps our commission could consider writing a letter and asking if we could, make a resolution in support of asking the state to grant some emergency Wi-Fi access. The only thing is we're running out of time for that, but that's the only thing I could think of too, is reaching out to Senator Hertzberg as well.
Olivia?
I have a question. So when you started your presentation, Suzanne, you asked if we wanted to join this group. So my question is, in order to join a group, a community group in this manner, do we need to ask for permission? And what would it mean to join the group? Does it mean that when they put out a flyer or something, then we would have our logo on it? I would just like clarification on that, whether or not we need to ask for permission.
Right. What I've seen happen is, I don't know if you know Michael Long, who is the director of the youth projects and community projects from the San Fernando Valley Boys and Girls Club right here on Glen Oaks and Van Nuys Boulevard. But he is very, very focused, very into the community. He's been American Red Cross, one of the leaders of the American Cross, the Coima branch. He works with many of the food banks. He does the he works with the CERT, with the fire department. He works with many community organizations. He's brought on board the public health department, the LA County Public Health Department. He's brought on the Valley Care Consortium. And what it is, it's very informal. And what it is if the leadership in those groups say, we would like to help, we would like to participate, then we were brought on board, and we had to develop this project. We would have these meetings, it was once a week, to develop this project. And if there was something, and if there was an organization that's supporting them, then it makes sense to put their logo on the data that goes out or the PR that goes out. When it came to Vaughn, because we are also supporting them, we said, we're supporting you. We want to have some of our kids on the panel. And with that being said, we said, okay, let's put the logo on the information that's going out. So if we were to do it, I don't know what the procedure is for the city when the city backs a project or an activity or a collaboration, but on the group's end, it's very easy to do. So and of course for Vaughn, we went through, talking to management or administration about it, and definitely they said it was a good thing to do. So I don't know how would we, of a commission, as the Education Commission in the City of San Fernando, if the commission sees that, yes, this is a great project that our kids need, how would we do it through the city? What kind of...
That's my question, is what's the city's,
I would feel more comfortable, Suzanne, if you went to the first meeting and reported back, so we knew what was actually happening at the meeting before we ask the city, because we would, in order to use anything with the logos or any kind of city backing or city official city designations, it will have to go to the council. But if you can go to the meeting at first and then report back, then we'll know, the homeschooling, the COVID schooling is not going to be stopped this month or next month or the month after. So as it gets rolling, I'm very comfortable reaching out to the high schools at CCLA and making sure that they're aware of it as well, and that they can inform their students. But as it's forming and we can see what it is that they feel that is best served, we'll know more, because we don't even really have enough, I don't think at this point, to ask the council to get the city's approval or backing. So
I have a question. So with that being said, two things. I know with when you ask for a city logo, that that's a big thing, because the people who are responsible need to say, okay, this is a valid project that we are going to participate in. But if there's something that just the Education Commission decides, that if we decide as a group that says, yes, this is a valuable project to participate in, who do we ask permission of? Or do we ask permission? Or is it the chair is the one that deems, yes, the council voted on it and we decided we're going to participate? That's one thing. And the other thing, just to share with you, was I know with our director from Visa, she had spoken to the kids and the families and said that they were going to support the virtual community service project. So when Miss Velasquez was told of this project, she just loved it, because this is something that the kids can do once again for the community service. So that is something that is also possible for our kids here in the city of San Fernando, if we continue, if we see that this is good for our commission to work with, and we can get that message out to our kids about helping the community virtually. What are your thoughts?
Right. I'll take the first question. So you basically asked, like, if it's just something happening within the Education Commission, that is something that we vote on collectively. So that's something you could agendize, you could bring up, and let's say we wanted to administer a survey to all of our local schools to get feedback from the students about supports that they need. My feeling, my gut's telling me that we would be able to get that information without necessarily going to full city council. I would run it by our city manager just to make sure there's no kind of ethics issues or something like that. But for the most part, I think that's things that we can do without it, because we're working within the capacity of what the commission was established for, which was basically to support our schools and kind of bridge the city with the schools. But I would run it by Nick just to confirm that. But that is something like if we wanted to take on, we would do.
Add,
Yeah, Julia, please.
No, I was just going to add, Commissioner Gouveia, that the Education Commission is an advisory group to not necessarily make those decisions to join other organizations. If you as a group think that this particular project is something that you want to work on, you have two ways of going. You can decide whether or not the project is something that you want city council and the city to back, and that you're willing to commit to that project as well. Take that to council and get the direction there, or on your own as individuals, assist with that project. And it just all depends on what Commissioner Llamas has to report back. Maybe they're not even at that stage yet. But does that make sense? I mean, your board or your commission is formed to be an advisory commission, and not necessarily at all times to reach out and join with other organizations, because that would lend itself to mean the city is backing it up as well, which I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with helping children, but at the same time, this is how I see it, how I'm understanding it.
So that's why I asked the question at the
Right.
very beginning. So you're saying if we act as a group and we work on something like this as a project, we send representatives, we need to present it and get approval from the council. But if we act as individuals that live in the community and want
Correct.
to help, then we don't necessarily have to. But we don't go to the meeting and say, we represent the city of San Fernando.
Right.
Correct. You got it.
Got it.
Okay, so with that being said, that makes sense what everybody's saying right now. So with that being said, I am going to participate in this community forum Thursday, and it might be a good idea if anybody else could participate. It's on at 5:30, so that way we can get two perspectives or two ears as to what we're seeing or possibilities that are going to be going through our heads when we hear what the kids have to say. So with that being said, is there anybody who thinks that they would be able to assist or attend this community forum from 5 to 6 p.m. on this Thursday?
Suzanne, I'm interested, and the only thing is I have a meeting at 4, so it needs to end at 5, so I can get into this.
Okay.
Meeting. And so how do I get the information to register?
Okay, if you look at the flyer, you'll see the where it says register here, and then you see the blue letters and numbers right there. So you just click on that. That's how I registered. I just clicked on it.
Okay, I'm going to take a picture because thank you.
Okay, and then Cynthia said she sent it out to everybody.
Okay.
So you
it's in our email.
Okay, and then if you want to send it out to anybody else, because we know how we feel about our kids, and we know our youth, our teens somehow seem to get the short end of the stick just by being a teen. That's what happens to them. So for them to go through what they're going through, and I've just seen my granddaughter, I didn't realize some things were bothering her until we had a real heavy duty discussion. And here, I think that our family is, I think we communicate well. I think we're really open, and we do as much as we can to talk to one another. And yet, when I was talking to her, I thought, oh my God, how come she didn't feel comfortable enough to share with us this? And then I understand that she felt that we had many things to take care of, that she didn't think that, she wasn't by heart. But so grandma. So if my granddaughter's like, you know, something to be communication. So,
Commissioner,
myself.
are you getting feedback? Is anyone else getting a lot of feedback?
Yeah, can't understand.
It's breaking up for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
breaking up.
maybe there's some music or something.
No, her face is frozen too.
Yeah, okay,
It could be her connection then.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I did talk to, if that's it for the Boys and Girls Club, impact on youth and families. I did talk to the local district superintendent this afternoon, and the one thing that I wanted to make sure that we pass along is that the grab and go meal centers, with the school starting, there's a slight change. If you watched on the news, anybody could grab and go. It didn't matter whether they were a student, a parent, or anything else. This, now that school has started, they've given each student a barcode. So each student has a barcode. Anybody can still go and pick up the food, but families are being provided with the barcodes with the idea that way they can get federal reimbursement for the student meals. They're still looking for people to reimburse for any of the other meals, but the parents are being asked to bring the barcodes. The children do not have to go with the parents to the grab and go, but the grab and go, they get a little barcode. I also reached out before school started, because once they announced that schools were going to be running from 9 to 11 with synchronous learning, and the food distribution was right through the middle of that, I could just picture parents trying to walk to these centers, and these two closest centers are San Fernando and Sylmar high schools, not being able to get back in time for 9 a.m. classes starting. So they have moved it to 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Anybody can pick up, but they are asking that if it's for a student, that they bring the barcode that was mailed to them the way the bus, Magnet Kids would get a bus pass. They're now mailing, everybody should have gotten their barcodes, and they can mail it, but anybody can still go to the food sites between 7 and 10 and get their breakfast and lunch meals, since the students are not on campus.
Angel, I'm sorry. I had somehow my screen had cut out. It died, and then
But
it
you're
came back
back
up.
now. Would you like to finish? Because we can hear you now.
So I don't know what happened to this phone, but anyway, to finish this last conversation, thank you for the support, and we'll bring back whatever information we can bring back so the commission can make a decision. Now, question about the grab and go.
Yes.
You said that when LAUSD started the programs, or they continued with the grab and go, but now they're giving our students, or the students, barcodes. So that way it could be recorded that these students have eaten, correct?
Mhm.
And then, but
It's so they get reimbursed. Because the lunch program, the breakfast and lunch programs are federal programs, and they're provided by federal, they're paid for by federal dollars. So what they wanted to make sure is that the students, that they can be reimbursed for the students' meals. And if they have the barcode, then they can say, okay, this family took 3 meals. We have 3 students in this family, so they're getting, they can be reimbursed for those 3, and the parents can still have meals as well, but they're going to have to find other funding for the non-student meals. But
Oh, I see. Okay.
initially, when I had heard some districts were not allowing non-students to pick up meals starting when school started, but I have been assured that students are able, and family members are able to pick up food, but they're just asking if you have the barcode to use the barcode. So
Got it. Thanks.
so
Thanks for sharing that.
You know, just
Okay.
because that's money, that's money that they don't have to find a source for because the federal government already pays for that.
So then are they still asking for donations to get the families fed? Is that how it's working? You know how they have these big organizations
Yeah,
giving money?
I think there's still some links on LAUSD that are providing, that are seeking funds, and I've seen some other sponsorships, but I'm not sure specifically which ones are doing it. I think I heard something about Nature Made, which I wasn't even sure who Nature Made is, but Nature Made is subsidizing it. So there's been some other ones, and there's been some outside donors, but that's where that's coming from right now.
Okay, thank you for that information.
All right, do we have anything else for COVID or impacts, or were anybody affected by the Zoom outage yesterday while you guys were trying to teach, or was it back on for you guys?
Zoom is a tool in the toolbox. Zoom is not school.
Right.
I said that to my students over and over. Some of them sent me messages via email and other apps. Are we still having school? Yes, we're still having school.
We were just wondering if it was going to be like a Zoom day, like you can have a snow day, you can have a Zoom day. Zoom
No.
is down, so they're going to have a snow day.
There are no Zoom days.
There's no Zoom days.
Other tools.
Yeah, and then we have backup apps as well. We use Google Meet, and then Schoology has a broadcast function if your school does that. So there's some teachers were relying on it, so they had to do that last minute audible, but who hasn't had to do that in 2020, right?
I was going to say there's been a lot of lessons, but we keep trucking because that's what we do.
Shift and move. I post things on Google Classroom and I'm like, click this link today. Surprise, it's a Meet. And a lot of cool things that we can do. And for the most part, I still had fantastic attendance yesterday, and things were good. And by the afternoon, it seemed it was up and running. So
awesome, fantastic.
Very cool. Yeah, I got a couple updates as well. Before I get out of here, I'm leaving at 6:45.
Okay.
One of the issues that I know we had and we discussed last semester, where a lot of parents were looking at ways that they can support their students because the tutoring services are no longer offered. So just a quick update from the district. I know they are piloting a one-on-one a tutoring system. They are working with an outside organization called, let me just make sure it's here. I had it up here, sorry, I'll get it up in a second. But they're working with this outside organization to see if we can provide students additional support beyond what they're getting directly from their instructor. I know at our CMO, Puck Schools, we're doing something similar. I think our after school program still has the grant. So I think they're actually hiring people, or they're bringing people back from before, and they'll actually be working with students at the end of the typical school day to provide support. So to me, that was like a breath of fresh air that we're starting to see organization, schools, and everyone kind of come together to provide students with extra layer of supports that they may not be able to get typically through school. The second update about COVID is, I know we're talking about potentially not going back. It's looking like, from what I'm seeing, that we may go back closer than I think. I thought 2020, 2021 was done, but I know LAUSD has introduced testing for the teachers who are returning back to campus. They're also doing contact tracing in the event that any one of the teachers who's showing up has COVID. And then I know LA County in general is doing really well when it comes to, I think we're about 5 of the 6 benchmarks for reopening. I do know that Orange County has met all 6 of the 6 benchmarks. And so if they can maintain that for 14 more days, their schools are going to be eligible to reopen. So it may be quicker than we think. So I know we want to, plan for all contingencies, but I just try to psychologically prepare myself, and as a commission, thinking about what does that look like when school comes back, be it the hybrid model, be it the, maybe it's a smaller percentage. They may bring back students with special needs first because of the additional supports the schools provide. But I just want to kind of throw that out there because we may not be back all year, or we may be back sooner than we think. So I know there's just so many variabilities in the game right now. But for my monitoring, that's kind of what I see. Has anyone else saw anything similar or different?
I saw something the opposite.
Okay.
I was in a meeting yesterday with people from CSUN, And they were saying that they're telling their faculties to be prepared to do the spraying online.
Okay.
They are not opening.
Okay, that's good to know because CSUN acted before the district, so
Yeah,
I think
and
we're
they
following
were
CSUN's lead.
sadly they were the first and they were the right. So I know that in the college world, it's been all over the news, but all the colleges that are opening as soon as the kids move back together and they're 4 to an apartment instead of one separate person per unit. There was an email that went out to USC students yesterday that was clear: do not have game night where you touch dice, do not eat meals together. They've been back a week and there's already 50 positive cases and 100 kids quarantined. So and that's not the biggest one. University of Alabama is another one that there's like 250 kids that have tested positive. So I want kids to go back. I want kids to be back, but I want people to be safe, and that includes educators and staff members and students. So I know we're stuck in this place between what is the safest thing to do and what is the best for kids educationally. And I am grateful that I don't have to make the decision, because I don't know how they're going to make the decision when the decision's made. But yes, the numbers are going down overall, but the natural clustering, either small people or almost adult people or just barely adult people, seems to be going in the wrong direction. So I'm hopeful. My daughter would like to leave the home before she's 30, and I fully would like that myself. It's funny when it comes out of a 19-year-old, like, am I going to be able to leave before I'm 30? I hope so. I really hope so. But it's crazy. And, I don't see, how they're going to make these decisions when, teachers are the age of the teachers and the staff members have to be considered. I am worried about our community. I'm worried about special needs students. I'm really, concerned, but I want everybody to be safe. So like I said, I'm glad I'm not making a decision. I do watch all the press conferences, but I do know that some districts have started experimenting with bringing back the students of essential workers, Glendale. And I know that LAUSD is starting to bring back the students of teachers, and that's where the contact tracing is going to start. And so, they'll have small amounts of data, and then before they expand it to size, they're going to want a whole lot more data. So I'm hopeful. And boy, it'd be really exciting if we get to a point where we can have all the things we want to do come spring. But if not, I think we still have to kind of keep playing both angles until we're told otherwise. So.
Great. On that note, guys, sorry again for leaving out early this time around, but I will see you guys later. So,
okay, take care, David.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so do we have anything else on the COVID front? I would like COVID to go away permanently, but we will go with it for tonight only. All right, discussion regarding the 2020-2021 scholarship process applications and awards ceremony. This is still usually where we're fairly quiet. I know we kind of left it last month, and maybe if everybody had an opportunity to look at the questions and think about the questions. Did anybody get a chance to do that?
I thought we were holding off on that. I'm sorry.
Okay, we can hold up. I mean, I definitely looked at the questions. I don't see any glaring ones that need to come off. I'm going to beg that we don't add a COVID question unless somebody can convince me otherwise, but we can definitely wait until next month to worry about that specifically. If nobody has anything else to discuss about the scholarship, we can definitely move on. Next thing is teacher spotlight nomination, selection, presentation, and procedures. We chose a teacher last month. I reached out to the principal. We have 20 responses. So 20. So like, again, we have a very active principal that yes. And so I'm going to need some kind of help. Principal's 100% on board. I will get the Starbucks gift card. David's not here to kind of to help us through the next one. Cynthia, when would be the best time to do, should we do student of the month and teacher separate or on the same meeting?
They're quick items, so you could definitely do it in the same meeting.
Okay,
The only problem is if the student wants to add additional people to the Zoom meeting, we can only have so many people on the Zoom. So they may not be able to get access to so many links. I think it'd be one link per recipient. But if I do understand, if the teacher wants to join, we might want to add them separately.
right, but they would be able to watch on the YouTube channel, right? Anybody could watch it. It's if we only had a few representatives. Because the first meeting in September is a Tuesday because of Labor Day, and because that causes impact for you guys for the schedule, would you prefer the second one in September? Yes, Julia's nodding yes, and I am perfectly okay. I warned the principal that it would very likely be the second meeting in September. That will also give David time to go back and get our March recipients of Student of the Month, and we can bring them together. It will also give
Me handling that instead of David. He and I separately about that, so I just have contact information, but I'll take care of that.
Okay, because we're to need to also get the information to Julie to get the certificates done. What would be the best point, Cynthia, to try to figure out, to brainstorm with you guys how to bring this all together on a Zoom call? I mean, you guys have done more of these calls where other people are involved. For a Student of the Month, one of us can certainly read their application if it doesn't end up being one of the, like perhaps the teacher that nominated them. But for the teacher, for the teacher spotlight, how there's a limit on how many people can be in the meeting. I don't want to hear from 20 people before. I mean, that would be a very long presentation. But you know, whether we read out highlights, or I mean, I can also talk to the principal, because maybe the principal reads out some of the highlights and then just a few of the kids read theirs. If they provide video to you, can that be aired? Okay, so we have a few options, and if we're looking at the middle of the month, and I have no idea how September. What's the second date? The meeting for the second day in September? Do you have a calendar in front of you?
The 21st. And we would have that information a week in advance, which would be September 14th, which gives you a few weeks. And since this is the first time that we've had a teacher spotlight, we would also need language that you would like to be included on the certificate.
Yeah, I could definitely handle that in the next week. Like I said, we have 20 sound bites to go with, and then we just have to figure out how we want to capture them and present them for the 21st.
And also, you can get me a number of how many people would like to join the meeting. Maybe we do have space, and we could just work that out with the city.
Okay.
Angel, I have a question.
Sure.
So if a principal submits names, then all of them are highlighted? It's not like we choose from that group?
Well, we could, there were 20, we send out, we let them know who the teacher was going to be. And the principal sent out a request, and 20 students wrote in.
Gotcha.
There are actually 20 students that wrote in about this one teacher. So we have 20 to.
Our decision last month, right, to honor the teacher from CCLA who constantly nominates people.
Yes.
So we had just said that we collectively would like, because we wanted to nominate the person, but we wanted to have the city council hear the students' words.
Right. And in the future, one of the other fantastic things is with my meeting with the superintendent they would like a cheat sheet and with all the information for the new principals, and he fully is in support of both Student of the Month and Teacher Spotlight. And when it comes from the superintendent to the schools, that gives us a little bit more visibility. So I definitely don't think that that's the only reason, but I think it'd be fantastic if, while we're requesting people for the future, that it comes from them at the beginning of the school year that, hey, City of San Fernando has these programs. Can you guys please, you know, find it? And I did say the same thing that we've said all along. It doesn't have to be the principal. It doesn't have to be a teacher. It could be the parent center rep. It can be anybody who wants to be in charge of finding the students. And in that case, then have the students nominate the teachers. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. I don't want to do that too much.
Angel,
I just got a text from Eduardo Solarzano.
Yes.
Remember, he visited us and he said he'd be happy to help read some of the highlights. He'd like to.
Okay, fantastic. So that's definitely one. And Eduardo is who I need to provide the information for the cheat sheet. But I know when we get to the part where we're talking about the brunch, that's some of the stuff that we were talking about instead of the brunch is providing like welcome information. In terms of Teacher Spotlight, I have enough to go on. Is there anything anybody wants to add to or ask? Are we
yes,
good?
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Actually,
Suzanne.
I'm lost.
Okay.
So help me understand.
I'm here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what we're talking about is the second council meeting in September.
Yes.
Where it's going to be the presentations.
Mhm.
Not only the teacher spotlight, but we're also going to have the student of the month, correct?
Student of the Month from the month of March, where we never got to award them their Student of the Month.
Okay. All right.
So it's not a
So
new
is
student. It is not a new Student of the Month, but if we end up, and Nicole, you're the one that's going to be sending the emails out now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the emails go out in September for October, right?
Yes, and I have that. We're just not on that yet, right? We're still
We're still bouncing around because it's going to be on the same day. But the Teacher Spotlight will be awarded on September 21st. And
okay.
then
And so the teacher spotlight was the teacher from
ACE.
Right. And the reason that, and from the conversation that I remember, the reason that we're highlighting him or recognizing him is because all the work he's done with the kids and with the school, and he's been very proactive in making sure that these kids get recognized. And that's the gentleman that we're going to recognize in September. So there's only two people, or actually not two people. There's how many people?
There's one teacher.
Uh-huh.
That's the one teacher. And then there's hopefully the two students that we awarded back in March that we have not been able to have them recognized by City Council yet.
Got it. Okay, I've got it so far. Now tell me about the 20 people. You were talking about the 20 people who have given some information.
Last month we decided that we were going to recognize this teacher as a way to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
And so I reached out to the principal and I said, I need testimonials. And she says, do you want me to just have them use the form? And I said, that's a great idea because we want them to use the form. So 20 students, roughly 20, wrote in and used the same form that we have. So there are 20 students that have shared their experience that we've already chosen.
Okay, I understand so far now. Thank you for walking me through this.
I feel like everything's all blurring together as we're trying to move forward and like pick up things that we missed in the background. So
okay, that's good. So
I
Go
think
ahead,
what
Nicole.
we normally imagined happening is that there'd be like a person who send like a really compelling nomination, and we'd invite that person to share it. But now we've kind of semi-nominated, and so but we asked for additional nominations. So now we have 24 nominations. It's just a unique situation. So it's what Commissioner
Okay.
Polito said is that she can get the superintendent neighborhood school person. I'm bad with titles.
Community of schools.
Liaison?
Community, yeah, I think it's director of community of schools, but yes, he's in charge of the San Fernando Sylmar Community of Schools.
Our community's version of the superintendent,
Yes.
Eduardo, will read them aloud instead of, he will put together snippets and read them aloud instead of us inviting all 25 people. But maybe in the future, when we get one person who nominates, then that person might read their own.
Right, some of the
Okay.
kids. Go ahead.
Sorry. So you clarified that, but isn't 20 comments a lot to read?
I think we'll kind of parse through them. Some of them are simpler and some of them are a little bit more detailed. So, let me see if I can do this without.
So can we have creative license to merge the important points of those 20 messages?
I think that's what's going to happen. I don't want City Council to be mad at us or mad at me. I want Cynthia and Julia to be happy with us as well. And honestly, I don't want anybody to have to listen to 20 of the same thing. And some of them are very similar, and they would be, some of them you can hear the students, their voice come through, and those are the kind of ones that we want to do. Either the vocabulary is unique or the perspective is unique. We don't need all 20, but when this principal said, hey, this is going to happen, I need your help, 20 kids reached out. So that says to me that we were not off by doing this to get the ball rolling. So.
Okay. So then you're going to take on the task of merging the information or the recommendations.
I will go through them. I will talk to the principal and see how she would like, or because she knows the kids, so she would know which ones are more likely to want to do it, which ones are, because some of these kids are kids that have already graduated. Some of them are students that are previous students of the month, and some of them are already in college because they were from last year and they're at college at home, but they're technically no longer at the school, but they still wanted to recognize the teacher. There's also students that are there now. So having seen how these things normally happen, where we invite the teacher and the principal and they both speak and the student comes up and receives their award, the converse of that is happening where we're going to let the teacher know. We're going to try to present the information. I'm going to assume that I'm going to actually present the things earlier so that he will have them there with him. It's not going to, we can't surprise him and just have him like drag him into a meeting. So have the stuff delivered so that he can have his stuff there, and then he has an opportunity to speak as well.
You know, that's a unique perspective, because I can see how that would be very interesting for the superintendent to say, these are your kids, and this is what your kids has to say about you. I mean, that's, you pull everybody in that way, and that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that it'll happen that way, and hopefully in the future, we can actually have this City Council in chambers where we can fill the entire chambers with all the excited kids. But for right now, we're working with what we have. So however many people we can get on Zoom, and then the rest of them can be on YouTube, and he can go back later and look at the YouTube comments down the side, and those will be there forever. So, you know, one of the nice things about this is we now have meetings that are recorded. So we'll have the opportunity to, look at these in the future. So.
Okay.
Okay. Are we all good? Any other questions?
Nope, you answered my questions.
Thank you. All right, so that's Teacher Spotlight. And now Student of the Month, Nicole, do you have anything you have anything you want to add?
Right. So the form for this month is ready. I'm going to, I could put a link in the chat so you all can take a look at what it looks like, the preview version. I think that'll be easier than trying to share my screen.
I can make you a co-host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Share screen. There we go. Okay, so this is the preview version of the form for September. We went with positive attitude. So this is what's going to go out to all of the folks. And I'm just hoping that I can get some contact information. I think I have the stuff from the principal's brunch, but anything else that you all have that you want to send me, I told Vice Chair Govea that I would take this month since he is adjusting to family life. So positive attitude, here's what it says: name of nominee, name of recommender, email, school, all that good stuff. And then here is what we have here that needs to be adjusted. So we have, please describe any information about the nominee's creative artistic achievement. That was what it was last time. So now we need to change this to positivity. So I was thinking we would say something along the lines of, please describe information about the nominee's positive approach to education. Or thoughts, suggestions, anyone?
I just like positive approach.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it even just has to be education, because sometimes it can be just about anything. Some people are just better at it than others. It's definitely something that I need lots of work on.
Love this. So I have, please describe the nominee's positive approach or overall positive attitude. Yes?
I like it.
Great. Please provide any additional information about the nominee that wasn't mentioned above, 100 words or less.
Beautiful.
That part is not required. So that will go out. I will start working on sending that out tomorrow. I think that's it. And then we have, just to review, the other ones that we had decided on. Sorry, let me find that form. Oh, and then the next one for October will be responsibility and ownership. So just to recap, I'm going to try to get a hold of the March winners, who were both high schoolers. And I believe one was from CCLA and the other was from, I think, also CCLA, but I'm not sure.
I thought what the second one, the one that we were looking for that came from, I thought it was from the school on brand, the continuation school. Not options, but it was an option school. And maybe it wasn't.
I don't know. Anyhow,
Yeah,
that is the information that I'm missing. I am missing that information about who I'm supposed to be contacting, but I will get that and I will make it happen. So now I have my date from our last conversation. So September 21st. And I will happily go and present that and see if a principal or nominator would also like to present it, or I will read about the information. And I will see if I can get them both there and contact Cynthia about that.
Awesome.
We will also need their addresses so we can mail them a certificate and Horchateria's little certificate that we have. We still have a few.
Addresses, okay. All right, so that's all I have then.
Awesome. And that will be for September 21st.
September 21st, got it.
Awesome, awesome.
And you need all that by the 14th.
Thank you.
And Cynthia, honestly, way earlier is way better, right? Yeah, earlier is way, yeah.
Aim for way earlier. I will aim for in the next week.
Right, that's kind of the thing. I will do the best that I can to get everything moving forward to give you guys the most amount of time, since you guys are trying to work with everything through City Hall right now. If that is everything for Student of the Month, anything else? We good?
I was just going to say, Nicole, I'm going to send you the the new principal there that took place of the technology high school. And so I'll send you his name and his email, but the others I think are the same.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, so the next one is discussion regarding principals brunch events. And we've officially pretty much decided we're not going to be doing a brunch right now, but echoing what we were dancing around last month about a welcome packet or information. Talking to the local superintendent, he seemed to be very interested in the whole idea of, especially with, I think there may be a couple of principals that are within their first year. They aren't brand new, but they're within their first year. And definitely the new principal at TPA, that making sure that they have all the information that we would provide. But I would still like to, we may want to hold off until November only because there's an election coming up. But here are the people in the city, and these are the offices, and these are how you get a hold of for, you know, but student of the month, teacher spotlight. This is, you know, these are the people, these are the officials in the city that if you are having questions or concerns about this or that, or information on additional programs that we have, either the cadet program or some of the other internships that are available within the city. But at this point, I don't think we have enough information to actually to finish or complete that. So also, I think that at this point, with everybody just starting, that they probably have enough on their plate to not fill their inbox with additional other stuff that gets lost after we put the effort into it. So does anybody have an opinion on waiting at least till the election on that?
A motion that we table it till November.
Okay.
I second it.
All right. You want to do a roll call on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Llamas,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea is absent. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes. So we will table the brunch / informational mail outs till November. Okay. Discussion regarding Education Commission Ad Hoc Committee assignments.
We go first. Commissioner Robledo and I had the ad hoc task of creating a script to personally go to people to ask for the donations for our scholarship programs. And we were both in the position where we thought that we should hold off on this assignment or continue with assignment, because the whole purpose was for us to create a script to go one-on-one. But right now we can't do one-on-one, go to visit companies, organizations, people that we know. And it's just a sad situation right now, but that's the way it is. And then just as you were saying right now, we talked about, okay, well, how about if we write a script for the emails? But once again, because the emails, the boxes are so full with communication from everybody and everywhere, we felt that it would get lost in the email box of endless emails. In fact, just to share something with you, I was working with one of the students, one of our high school students, and I had asked her if she had received one of the messages that we were working with, and she said, Ms. Llamas, to tell you the truth, I haven't had the time to answer or look at all these emails, because she says there are so many that I'm just overwhelmed with it. And that was from a high school student. So we're recommending that we hold off on this assignment for a couple more months until we get a little bit clearer, we open up more, the COVID is decreasing somewhat. So Olivia, would you be comfortable with maybe starting in, what month would you be comfortable starting it up again?
I think, like you said, a couple of months, and certainly we could. I mean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Then we could start working on the letter because what we thought was we would have the one-on-one either go to a nonprofit or go to, say the Chamber of Commerce, but we would follow up with a letter. So I think we could work on a letter, and later the script, something like that. But we don't see that this work can be accomplished in the way that we were asked to do it, you might say, because of the inability to visit some of their meetings.
Right. And we do have the base of what we started to work with. So it's not like we're gonna, when we start up again, it's not gonna be like we're gonna start from blank. So that'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I don't see any of the other assignments that necessarily need to be changed or moved. If anybody really does have a strong feeling on moving or adapting them, we can. But right now, I mean, if it needs to be kind of just kind of back burner while we're dealing with other stuff, that's fine. At some point, census will kind of fall off, but there's no reason to cancel it at this point because there might still be some things that come up.
I've been looking at my email, but I haven't seen a census meeting, so I haven't attended anything. I don't know if I missed it or they had the meetings. I don't know.
It may be wrapping up. I think there's been an effort to try to push it back to October, but I don't know if that's been successful.
But if we don't have any other discussions on any of the ad hoc assignments, you don't anticipate or see that we need to add any at this point? I think we have enough irons in the fire.
Isn't that the truth?
No, I thought things would get easier with being technically an empty nester, but there's still plenty of stuff going on. So trying to touch base with everything and handle what we can, but there's only so many things that we can do. But we're doing what we can to support the kids here. So we're doing it.
Irony, you'd think that being at home all the time and the fact that I barely ever leave the house, that I'd feel like I had so much time to do things like write amazing emails and things like that and handle all this stuff. But I'm a really technically savvy teacher, but this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So yeah, I don't think we should add anything else.
I think we're good. I think we're good. We're going to be successful with what we've got, and we'll keep going with what we have. And when we're successful on all those things, then we'll add more things. But I am good. That being said, I've lost with the screen moving. I've lost the time, so it is
7:15.
7:15. Charity, have we lost you? You're still there. She hasn't given up yet.
No, I certainly haven't. Board member Gonez will be signing on shortly. She's just a little delayed, but she'll be able to sign in like a couple minutes.
Okay. We can keep going. I mean, do we have any general commissioner comments, and then we can wait for board member Gonez?
I have some general commissioner comments.
Go for it, Commissioner Moore.
I have sort of, for no particular reason, been waiting on, I have been working with a tiny ad hoc of the Parks and Recreation Commission to work on a community theater happening. We are working on trying to someday eventually have a community theater, and we had really just started to make some headway into that in like March, right as everything got stuck. So I wanted to just connect us with that commission, the Parks and Recreation and Wellness and Arts and Culture Commission, or something that it's named like that, is going to be hopefully sponsoring a film contest. So as soon as I get the information on that, I will roll it out to y'all because they're going to make sure that students are able to enter for free. So that'll be information that we'll be able to spread for our contacts. And they're kind of looking at it as something fun to go along with the city's traditional Dia de los Muertos stuff. Since there probably won't be a giant community 5K and celebration this year, but they're looking at other fun things that they can do that would be similarly honoring people's memories and things like that. And so they're doing films along that theme and hoping to eventually do another community theater interest meeting. And I'm very excited that that is moving forward. So I just wanted to put that on all y'all's radars, since it is something else that we can give our students to feel good about themselves and their abilities at home.
And once more, shout out to the city for finally allowing the meetings to be shown on YouTube, because I don't even have to leave my house. I can watch the Dodgers and watch City Council or Rec or Transportation. I think those are the only ones I've watched, but I will not go back and watch ours. I can't do it. But it's very interesting to see the other commissions and how they work together, and how all of these little commissions are doing magical things for the city. And I know that there are people in my house that are very excited about community theater, and the poor person that was at the point person for that got an email with about 5 girls' names on it that are all girls from the Northeast Valley, girls of color who are very adamant about theater, and they wanted to make sure they were represented. And I was like, here we go.
Not a poor thing. We were begging for more people involved. So that was, I'm sure, a thrilling email.
I'm sure it was. I didn't realize that it was going to be one person signing for 5. And it's like, okay, that might be a little intense, but it's okay. They are very passionate, and they have within them directors and actors and theater majors and people that have absolutely no theater background, except they love theater and they want to be part of theater. So it should be a good mix. So we are very grateful for the other commissions that are still moving through during COVID times. It looks like Esme and Board Member Gomez are back. Are you guys here? With little people, yay, we love little people. I have a dog, it's not the same.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I was expecting to join after he was in bed, but I heard you were wrapping up early, so I've got my sidekick here with me. Good evening to everyone. I am so happy to virtually join you tonight. I hope all of you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. I also want to specifically thank Angel for her support last week as we prepared for the kickoff of distance learning. I appreciate your advocacy for our students in San Fernando, and to you and to everyone, please continue to reach out to me or my team whenever you hear from families, however we can help. You know, that's all of our jobs. And you are definitely our eyes and ears on the ground, especially with distance learning. It's hard to know what's happening at every school site. So any feedback you can provide, we really appreciate that. I want to start by sharing some good news as our BD6 family has grown. As you can see, I gave birth to my second baby boy, Ezra, 3 months ago. We're both healthy and can't wait to be back out there in our community and at our school sites once it's safe to do so. Next, I just wanted to share a few updates on the district's work since the pandemic started. As you know, we closed our facilities back in March due to the risks of COVID-19. And since then, we've been planning for this school year under a number of different conditions. We are not able to welcome our families physically back to campus at this moment because the threat of the virus has not decreased enough. LA County is part of Governor Newsom's order that requires distance learning only until community spread decreases of coronavirus. And we know this is really challenging, but obviously health and safety of our students, staff, and families is paramount. Last week, we started school with distance learning and just wanted to share some of the steps we've taken to strengthen our distance learning program. First, we've worked to ensure that our families and staff are prepared to start the school year strong. That means providing every student with a laptop or tablet to access their digital resources and every family with a hotspot to access the internet. The district has invested over $100 million to date in devices for distance learning. Last week, our schools also opened with a Smart Start. So during the first couple of days of the school year, students and families virtually attended orientation. They picked up their instructional materials and their devices, and they met with their teachers. Our educators also had time to train and plan together so that every school started the school year on a strong foundation. We are also making sure our classes are much more robust than in the spring. We have set schedules for every grade level to provide structure and consistency for families. And every teacher is providing daily live instruction as well as offline lessons, such as pre-recorded videos and independent work. There are established daily minimums for each type of instruction, and those vary between elementary, middle, and high school. And I can provide more examples if you are curious. We are also taking daily attendance, and there will be assessments, grades, and regular feedback and support from teachers. And we've taken further steps to ensure that all students, including our English learners, homeless students, and students with disabilities, have equitable access in their educational opportunities. Third, we know that our students need a lot more than just academic support. So we've provided training to our educators to provide mental health and socio-emotional support to address the needs of the whole child. While our facilities remain closed, we will continue to operate our 63 grab and go food centers where we serve children and families up to 2 meals each weekday. This effort constitutes the largest food distribution program in the country, and to date we've served over 55 million meals to hungry families. We've recently adjusted those hours, and they are now open from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and that's to allow for our students to participate in distance learning later in the morning. The closest grab and go for you all is located at San Fernando High School. So if you know someone who needs those resources, please go ahead and share that information with them. Lastly, looking ahead towards the future, though we currently must operate in a distance learning format, we are actively planning for when it is safe to bring our families back. We will keep working with our public health officials and make those decisions guided by science and with health and safety as the top priority. You feel strongly about science. The current order from the governor is in effect until LA County has fewer than 100 cases per 100,000 residents. And today it was announced that the county is at 200 cases per 100,000 residents. So we've got some more work to do. Once the county is able to meet those targets, we will likely start with a hybrid environment. And the goal of that is to reduce the number of students in the classroom at any given time. At that time, we will have PPE, personal protective equipment for students and staff, as well as hand washing stations, enhanced cleaning, and improved air filtration. Importantly, the district last week announced a COVID-19 testing and contact tracing program for staff, students, and families. So this program will offer free periodic testing so we can maintain everyone's safety, and it'll hopefully enable us to bring people back to our campuses as quickly as possible. At this evolving time, my team is working really hard to support our community through our newsletter, our social media updates, and a series of videos we created with our partner organizations to support learning at home. Those videos are focusing on literacy, STEM, and socio-emotional learning. Most are available in English and Spanish, and they can be found on our YouTube page. One final update for you all, and apologize that this is a little lengthy. The district has shifted to a new model called the Communities of Schools. And the goal of it is to ensure that our services are personalized and connected to the communities that our schools serve. So the 13 district schools within the city of San Fernando belong to the San Fernando Sylmar Community of Schools. And my staff has shared with you all the list of schools and the office information. In an upcoming meeting, we'd also be happy to connect you with the new Community of Schools Administrator, Eduardo Solorzano, to brainstorm ways to partner. Lastly, if you'd like the latest information from my office, good idea to sign up for the newsletter and follow our social media at Kelly for LA Schools. And I know Esmeralda already introduced Charity, our policy and advocacy deputy. She will be our new liaison for the Education Commission and for the city of San Fernando in general. So please don't hesitate to reach out to her or to me with any questions or concerns. Thank you so much. And with that, happy to answer a few questions.
You did very well juggling baby too. This is the highlight of the meeting, I'm telling you.
Very wiggly, so he makes it a little challenging.
He's definitely interested in what's going on. Anybody have any questions? Oh, see, now there's like lots of babies. This is awesome. Everybody should just bring babies. I'll just find one. We'll find one. Does anybody have any questions? Olivia? Do you want to turn your mic?
I don't have a question. I just want to thank you so much because I know that your staff and yourself are going every which way to try and think of, you know, how to address all the concerns of the community and the families. And you're right, I think that everybody's doing the best we can. Here in this home, I have 2 children that are in a school, my grandchildren, and I see my daughter just running around, you know, trying to help and be available to them because they're fine and they're on their Zoom, and the next minute they're not. So, you know, she needs to be available. So I can imagine for people that have more children or may not be computer literate. I just thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you so much, Olivia. The baby's crying. I would say more, but I really appreciate it.
No, we'll let you guys go, but I definitely want to thank you guys because I know I've mentioned this to other school officials, but when you guys sign up for these kind of jobs, you have a vision of what you want to do and the goals you have. And I know that worldwide pandemic is not ever on anybody's list of what they want to have to deal with. And there are so many competing concerns and competing issues that normally rational human beings who can have similar goals have very different concerns when it comes to whether kids should be in school or not in school. What are they missing? What is the slide? And you know, we very much appreciate at this point keeping kids safe and trying to anticipate what the when the going back, because we don't know, but we want them to go back, but we also don't want them going back too soon. And you guys are handling everything from when can they go back to when it's safe, to what safe looks like, and trying to size that up with the district that's 500,000 kids. So we are very appreciative. If you have to go, we have definitely got the fill of the baby and it's adorable. And if you guys want to head out, we very much appreciate you guys coming to our meeting. You guys are welcome anytime.
Well, thank you all so much. And we'll definitely, as you said, we're weighing all of those issues very, very carefully with a lot of consideration. As we get closer to any reopening or move to a hybrid model, we'll make sure to come back so that we can share more details about that with you all properly. So expect that sometime in the next few months. But with that, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's the most exciting Emily has ever been at our meeting.
And I just, before I log off, I just want to let you all know that in the chat box, I linked you all to our newsletter sign up, as well as our contact number for the office. Those calls will get forwarded to our staff. But I've also given you all my personal cell phone number. So if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything else that comes up for the board member, please feel free to reach me. I will respond as quickly as I can. I've also included our social media handles in case y'all want to share those too.
Thank you. And we will be sharing with you as soon as we have our teacher spotlight and our student of the month, so you can help us pass that word out too. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me, all.
Thank you.
All right, we're jumping back. So now it's anybody else with general commissioner comments? Commissioner Moore, are you all caught up?
I said my thing, thank you.
She did her thing. All right, Suzanne, do you have any other commissioner comments?
No, you've answered my questions. There's a lot of clarity tonight. Yeah, one comment. Congratulations, Commissioner Moore. That is such an exciting thing to participate in the development of the theater company, I like to say, for the city. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. Thank you for doing that.
I hope it happens.
It will.
I think it can happen. I am very optimistic that theater people are very committed people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very optimistic.
You need to be committed anyway.
Yeah, or you could be committed. Yes, I got you. I see that. Commissioner Robledo, do you have any commissioner comments?
Let's see. You can hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I went out for the screen went blank for a minute. I don't know if you missed me or not, but I was out for
the boxes
about a
keep
minute.
Jumping around, but I never know if it's because people need to go or people choose to go or they come back.
I just
We're
want to
glad you're
share
back.
that. Okay, I just want to share that I have just been become a part of a ad hoc committee from the CSUN Alumni Association. And the committee is brand new, so we're still trying to define and give some kind of shape to our work. But it is called the Alumni Community Engagement Committee. So it's about, you know, we have several goals, but like I say, we're still working on that. But one of the goals is to have community understand that this university that sits in our valley belongs to them, and that there are resources there that they can take advantage of. And we feel that many times people just don't know it's there. And or they feel that it's just for the students that attend the university. But so it's, you know, one of our goals is to get the community to feel this is their university. And I'll be reporting further as we, you know, organize ourselves and have our plan together. But anyway, if you think of any way, or, you know, it might cross your mind, something that you think would work as far as reaching out to the community. And we are starting in the fall, reaching out to the East Valley, so north and south. And then in the spring, we're going to be reaching out to the west side. So anyway, if anybody has any ideas, you can email me, call me. I'd appreciate your input.
Very good, thank you. I will call it, I kind of interspersed my comments in between. So that's what we have. It's staff communication.
Nothing to report this month.
Okay, and this is everybody's favorite time. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn our meeting.
Thank you,
I
Olivia.
second it.
All right, Suzanne second. Roll call.
Commissioner Olivia Robledo,
Yes.
Commissioner Nicole Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Suzanne N. Llamas,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Gouveia is absent, and Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you both. Thank you to the
Commissioner.
commission as well.
Everyone.
Yeah, everybody.
We have 2 cookies left.
See, just enough. You guys take care.